Hey guys, welcome back to the CulePodcast. Welcome back to another video. On today's videos, we're going to be having some very interesting stuff to talk about in regards to both Laporta and Xavi, and as well as a potential crazy signing that Barcelona can make in the summer. But guys, before I get started on the video, make sure to follow me on all of my social media platforms. Everything's posted down below in the description. Go over there and check me out. That way you guys can stay up to date with everything that I do on the channel. But guys, let's get straight into it and let's talk about Laporta and Xavi because according to Sport, Laporta has informally asked Xavi to stay at the club for one more season. Rafa Yuste, the vice president, also said this to Xavi. If he decides to change his mind and continue, the doors will always be open to him. Now, this is very interesting because we did have this conversation on the Monday episode on whether Xavi he should, stay at the club. We were talking about this because the team has picked up form, in the past couple of weeks. And, we basically talked about like, hey, why is Barcelona so hesitant on, confirming the next manager and basically appointing the next Barcelona manager? And it's basically because of this. Laporta and Rafa Yuste, they have several reasons on why they're holding off for a manager, and it's reported by Antone, and this is why. One, Barcelona, they're satisfied with Xavi's work. Barcelona think that Xavi has done a satisfactory job at the club. And when you look at it from that perspective, it does make sense. Xavi, in his first season when he came into the club, he stabilized Barcelona. In the second season, he won La Liga and the Supercopa de España. And in this season, it's hasn't been that great. But Barcelona, if they can potentially mount a comeback, we can still, with asterisk, win La Liga. It's still a very distant possibility. And in the Champions League, it's the Champions League. It's just depending on the draw and depending on the team's form, obviously. And the second reason why is that the dressing room is still loyal to him. The players are with Xavi until the end. Now, this is where I'm thinking like, hey, is this more because Xavi has announced his decision and he's basically saying, let's give a final hurrah, let's give all of our energy into these last couple of weeks because after this season is over, I'm no longer going to be here. And obviously, these players they have to perform at a high level because if they don't, the next manager who comes in, they're going to be like you're not really putting in the work that needs to be required for a club of this stature, and you're not going to make things easy for me. The third reason is because Xavi knows the club well and is aware of the difficulties that our Barcelona is going through on an economic level. Now, this is where I think Xavi was absolutely perfect, because whatever Xavi, whatever the club told Xavi, hey, I'm sorry, we can't go out and buy Bernardo Silva, we can't go out and buy these superstar signings or anything like that. You're gonna have to work with what you have. Like we in the last summer we bought Romeo for 3.5 million because we just didn't have enough, to go out into the market, maybe buy like a Zubimendi or Kimmich. And Xavi said, "Okay, I'm fine. I completely understand that." And that's something that a manager who is very close with the club will understand. Other managers, they require players in order to play their systems, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's another reason. And the last reason for why Barcelona they want Xavi to continue his stint at the club is because they're having difficulty finding the coach. It seems that Barcelona they're not entirely convinced by anyone out in the market, and that's including Hansi Flick, Thomas Tuchel, Roberto Rossi, and even Luis Enrique. Barcelona they are hesitant to go after these managers because they don't really think that they would be an improvement on Xavi. My thoughts on this is that I understand that Barcelona is doing well in these past couple of games and weeks, but I'm still hesitant on giving Xavi, that decision like, hey, stay until the end of the season and stay next season. Because what happens if, for example, Barcelona they do well these next couple of games, but against Napoli we get knocked out, or and then in the games after we get absolutely that 8 point gap that we have against Real Madrid, it even widens and it goes to 11 or 12. And then Laporta's decision to say, "Hi, Xavi, stay at the club," then it's very bad imagery, and then you're basically screwed for the next season having Xavi, stay and in very bad circumstances. And so I think it's smart for Barcelona to hold off and just see how these next couple of weeks go before making a what would be a monumental decision. And it's going to be very interesting to see how things play out, guys. I am going to be talking about this and making sure to keep you guys up to date. But it's going to be very interesting to see. But what do you guys make of Joan Laporta asking Xavi to stay until the end of the season? But the thing is, that Xavi's entourage, their decision hasn't changed. They say that Xavi will leave at the end of the season. His mind is not going back. It's not going to be changed. And so, what does that mean for Barcelona? Is that they're going to be having to look for a manager. It's not what they want to do, but it's most likely what they're going to have to do. But as I said, guys, let me know your guys' thoughts on Joan Laporta's decision. To ask Xavi to stay. Would you guys want to see that happen, or would you say, hey, Xavi, thank you for the time of the club, but it's time to move on. And now, guys, for what's going to be absolutely ridiculous to talk about, let's talk about a huge signing that Barcelona can make in the summer, and that is Erling Haaland. Because according to Gerard Romero, who's sometimes a hit and miss, Barcelona have met with Haaland's agents today in Barcelona. Now, when I went onto Twitter and I saw, breaking news, Gerard Romero reporting, "Hey, Barcelona have met with Erling Haaland." I'm like, "Wait, what? Like, where is this coming from? Where is this coming from?" But apparently, Rafael Pimienta, who is the agent of, for example, of Haaland and other players, she has a close relationship with Joan Laporta, and Rafael Pimienta, she's the agent of other players such as De Ligt, and in that meeting, several players that they were talked about, but Haaland was the main subject. And Jerome says that the deal is very, very difficult, but it is not impossible. And if you're looking at a price tag, you're looking at 100 million. That's what he is saying. But his release clause next summer will be 175 million, according to him. And looking at Haaland, he's a world class striker. He's one of the best in the world. Just for his ability and for what he could do, his striking ability, and his role on the pitch, he's absolutely fantastic. And obviously, I would take him in Barcelona in a heartbeat. But is this deal viable? Now, the same thing with Rafael, with Kavicha, with Martinelli, with any other big signings that Barcelona want to make. Barcelona, they are going to have to sell some big names. For example, a Rafinha, a Frank de Jong, a Kunde, a Christensen, players of these caliber, in order to make funds to bring in a player such as Haaland. And would you basically weaken, the squad, selling Rafinha, selling de Jong, selling Christensen maybe, and just bringing in a striker in a position in which really you'd also have to sell Robert Lewandowski. Robert Lewandowski has received offers from Saudi Arabia, but his intention is to stay at the club for at least one more season. And so, if Barcelona, they were to go out for a player such as Haaland, you'd basically have to get, rid of Robert Lewandowski. And what does that mean for the development of Vitor Roque? Because he is a youth player that we want to develop. And, if we bring in a striker to basically, take a lot of the minutes out, and trust me, if Haaland comes, he's going to be playing in the number 9 position. And I don't think you'd be able to find a partnership between Robert Lewandowski and Erling Haaland. Then, that really, slows down the developing of Vitor Roque. And then you just spend 40 million down the drain. And, looking at how, Rafael Leao has basically closed down the door to the Barcelona move. If you guys don't know, Rafael Leao has said this in regards to the links to Barcelona. At Milan, they helped me grow as a man and as a player. I can't leave them. My future is in Milan. My education is based on loyalty. So if you see that, like, a player such as Rafael Leao, who Barcelona were linked with heavily, in the past couple of weeks, if he's closing down the door to a Barcelona move, then that leaves the open to another superstar signing, potentially being on Barcelona's radar. And that was Erling Haaland. But in regards to Erling Haaland, do I think this deal is possible? Absolutely not, guys. Erling Haaland, he has just arrived in Man City. This is his second season at the club. And if you guys don't know, Erling Haaland has just scored 5 goals against Luton Town. He's absolutely having a fantastic time in Man City. And he did say in the past that he would like to play in every single league. He has already played in Germany for Borussia Dortmund. He is playing in England for Man City, and maybe the next league on the block would be La Liga. But right now, it's currently not feasible. Barcelona will have to sell a lot of assets, and I don't think it would be the smart move. And for this one, if Joe Romero is saying, hey, maybe this can happen next summer, not the summer of 2024, but the summer of 2025, then that would be a more realistic, if I'm being honest. Then that would be more realistic. You have Robert Lewandowski, heading out of the exit door. Vitor Roque getting more development. You'd basically bring in a superstar signing, and for next summer it would be making a lot more sense than this summer. But it's interesting to have these conversations. It is fun, but I just it's just the guy's just waffling. But guys, definitely let me know your thoughts on everything that we have discussed on today's video. There was a lot that we have discussed. What do you guys make of John Laporta asking Xavi to stay? Are you guys a fan with the decision? And what do you guys make of Joan Laporta, having Erling Haaland as his dream superstar signing? And, that report from Gerard Romero saying that Erling Haaland and his entourage has met with Barcelona. But guys, thank you guys all for watching. Thank you guys for supporting the channel, and I catch you guys all in the next video. Peace out, everyone.